Hello and welcome to Libra season. Thanks for tuning in to the Embodied Astrology podcast. I'm Renee Sills. I'm a consulting astrologer, embodiment educator, and multidimensional human who, like you, is on a journey through this crazy thing we call life here on planet Earth. These days, as I'm sure you've noticed, life on Earth is complex, chaotic, confusing, terrifying, and deeply heartbreaking, yet also still full of beauty and saturated by the mysterious substances of sentient potentiality. In many ways, these times are to be expected, given the histories and cycles that they're emerging within. In the ongoing evolution of human consciousness, navigating times of crisis has always been our necessity. Throughout history, we humans have had to reckon with creative and destructive potentials, and the ways in which we can make meaning and grow through experiences of tragedy and pain. Over the ages, one of our most important evolutionary guides and allies in meaning making has been astrology. Astrology is expansive, and the type that I practice, which is called tropical astrology, is just one of its many forms. Different forms of astrology exist and have existed on every part of the globe, and new forms and variations are still being created. At its most fundamental level, astrology is an orientation of attunement with the cycles and seasons of the cosmos, and a practice of listening and communing with the most important planet of all, which is the one we're part of, Earth. If you, like me, are interested in how you can live into the fullest potential of your lifetime, in service to the life and lives yours is interwoven with here on Earth, I want to invite you to join me next month for an in-person on-land retreat, where we'll explore how embodying astrology can help us attune with our intuition, open our imaginations, and show up for our journeys with inspiration, presence, and purpose. October 24th through 27th at the Eco-Dharma Center in the Rocky Mountains, I'll be joined by my colleagues Ramon and Michelle Gabrieloff-Parrish for a deep dive into experiential astrology. During this 4-day residential retreat, we'll engage with charts, signs, and symbolism. We'll spend time outside, connecting with our physical presence, somatic intelligence, and psychic process, in communion with the land and sky. We'll experiment with the potential of astrology to elaborate systems thinking, expand mind-body coherence, and assist us in cultivating perspectives on how our individual inheritances and personal potentials can help us all meet the historic moment we're in as change agents, healers, and visionaries. If this sounds like the place you want to be, I hope you'll join us. Learn more about the Body of Stars retreat by clicking the link in the show notes or visiting embodiedastrology.com, where you can find more information from the drop-down menu in the study section. Last but not least, before we get to your sign-specific horoscopes, I do want to remind you that these readings are somewhat personal explorations of larger collective symbols. Take what works, leave the rest, and make the meaning that's meaningful for you. For a broader focus on the astrology of current events and a collective reading, make sure to listen to my Libra season overview, available on YouTube or wherever you stream your podcasts. Hello Taurus, welcome to Libra season. As I tune in with your horoscope, I am going to do my best to offer you a channeled reading of this season's astrology for your head, your heart, and your body. We're going to be working with some main key words and concepts of Libra, including beauty, love, and balance. Beauty and love are two wonderful words that necessarily include their opposites. So they definitely refer to attractions and aversions, what we move towards and what we move away from, what we like and what we dislike. And of course, this then manifests in our state of balance. Balance is a process and a project. It is a dance. There's always movement inside of any true balance. To find balance, we need to be aware and sensitive to imbalance, and that is a major theme throughout this season, is noticing where we are imbalanced or where we are moving from a really strong sense of attraction or aversion in ways that might kind of pull us out of our wise discernment or internal clarity. So as we move into Libra season, I feel like a lot of you are, it's like the feeling that I have is that you've been partying or something, or there's this sense of like a lot has been happening and your life is really full, and there are lots of ways for you to potentially explore and enjoy yourself or experience things. Taurus is a very sensory, sensual sign, and it feels like there's a lot of sensory, sensual information. And this is an exciting period of time for you because it does feel like there's an embodied awakening and a sense of shifting presence in your vitality and in your life force that is starting to transform. But then as we get into the last couple of days of September, I think a lot of you are like needing to get back to business is kind of the feeling. We enter into the season and there's a lot of energy, and then there's some kind of pull to organize yourself or reorganize and find a greater state of balance, particularly when it comes to your day-to-day experiences, your health, your body, how you're taking care of the many responsibilities and details of your life. And for you, this also definitely includes relationships. So how much time are you giving relationships? What kind of energy are you putting into them? Are there particular relationships or particular ways that you've been relating that you're noticing actually take more than they give, or they give you things that feel like you don't really want to process or something like that? From that point on, the rest of Libra season definitely highlights your internal readiness to rebalance. And I think that rebalancing is very important for you on multiple levels right now. This includes your time, energy, and attention. It definitely includes how you're using the resources that you have at your disposal. For sure, that includes money and material resources, but definitely it includes your time and your physical vitality. In the realms of relationships, it's like I want to say something about other people, but the feeling that I have is it's actually about you. And there needs to be an inventory of some kind right now, and taking stock of what you're investing into your relationships. Everything from how much time you're thinking about the relationship to the kinds of communication and attention you're giving it or them. And then, of course, the people and the manner in which you're relating and the things that you're doing and stuff like that. And while, of course, you're in relationships with other beings who are their own, sovereign beings, the focus right now, I feel, is really on you and what you want to be giving, what you're wanting to receive, the kinds of feelings that you want to be having, and then what agency do you have? What choice do you have to curate your social experiences and craft them? As we move into October, we are approaching a new moon and solar eclipse. So the first 10 days of Libra season are very much inside of an eclipse window. There was a lunar eclipse on September 17th in the sign Pisces, and October 2nd's new moon solar eclipse is in Libra. And eclipse windows tend to be very strange kinds of times, in my experience at least. I find that the space between eclipses are often periods of time where there's a lot of overlap of timelines, and small kinds of situations can rapidly and unexpectedly grow into big kinds of situations. So a conversation that seems unimportant in the moment might have far-reaching implications, or a revelation that you have about something might become a very important thought that then influences behaviors and decisions moving forward. This particular window of eclipses has a lot to do with how you're orienting towards your own growth and where you want to go, how you're trying to grow. And your life is clearly showing you right now that there are some things that you're doing or ways that you're behaving, or again, relationship dynamics that are holding you back, that are getting in the way and that need a readjustment. And so October 2nd's new moon and eclipse is bringing a lot of awareness of this, I think, to you. And the feeling that I have for myself is know what doesn't work so that you can cut it out. Now, the cutting out process is going to take some time. And from the beginning of October all the way until, I'm going to say, early next year, and this could be anywhere from February until May, but we've got at least, a number of months coming up for this sorting out process. And in this period of time, my feeling is that you need to simplify a lot in your life. And you want to start by noticing what you're giving attention to, where you're putting your energy. Again, this sense of investment of your vital force. And first and foremost, that's your attention. It's your time. And I think that a lot of you will benefit right now from doing some kind of time audit or attention audit. And what I'm imagining is that you would actually, maybe for a week, make a list at the end of every single day and try and recount where you put your time and your attention. And this is a little challenging to do. So I don't know how you would do it, but maybe how much time do you spend thinking about certain things? And in particular, Taurus, how much time are you spending thinking about particular people, particular conversations, particular needs, etc.? Once you've done that kind of audit, you're going to have some good information. The information that could come in includes wow, that's too much time. That's too much attention. I need to cut something out. It could also include awareness of like a deeper need that's not getting met. So let's say, you have a friend or a partner and you realize that you're spending 3 hours of every single day obsessively ruminating over what you're not getting, right? Like your needs are not getting met or something. When you take the time to do the time audit and then you realize that 3 hours a day makes 21 hours a week, that's a part-time job that you are giving to ruminating about how these needs aren't getting met. Maybe that would motivate you to have a clear conversation with somebody. Because the feeling here is that you need to take action on clearing the space. And the action, first and foremost, is perceptual. It's being able to notice what's in the space. Then it's emotional, right? Like working maybe with your own emotional attachment, or I don't know, insecurities, anxieties, like whatever is driving this kind of thought pattern. And then it's actional, it's relational. You need to do something about it. The period of time between the new moon and the full moon, from October 2nd until October 17th, is really pushing a lot of these kinds of revelations and thought patterns forward for you. And even though in a lot of ways I would say that Libra in the Taurus chart is very much, again, about you, it's about your body, it's about your time, it's about how you spend your energy. Taurus as a sign needs relationships in a very particular way in order to attend to the body, attend to the time, attend to the energy. And because your sign, one of your superpowers and high levels of intelligence has to do with
survival and satisfaction. How do you get the things that you need? How do people get the things that they need? You are really clued in to the necessity of relationships and well relationships, because people get what they need when there's enough people to give people what they need, right? If we have enough people caring for each other, then no one person needs to be like saddled with all of the labor of care, right? If we have everybody pitching in to clean the house, then nobody has to be the house cleaner. And there is a feeling right now, for me, that you are understanding something about your relationship necessities in order to live the kind of life that you want to live and grow the way you want to grow and go in the directions that you want to go. And that this period of time in Libra season is an important period of time for you to discern and articulate and then begin to communicate or take action inside of your relationships so that these adjustments or evolutions can happen.
Hey there. I'll be back in just a minute with the rest of your Libra season horoscope, but I wanted to let you know that if you're enjoying this reading and it's resonating for you, the best way to integrate and bring astrology's best potentials into your life is to put them into practice. At Embodied Astrology, that's exactly the kind of thing we do. Every month and throughout the seasons, we offer opportunities to engage the creative, experimental, and experiential aspects of current astrology. This season, I hope you'll join me for Somatic Space, which is a class I offer every Monday, where we prepare ourselves to work with the astrology of the week ahead through gentle, healing body practices, breathwork, meditation, and visualization. Over the weekend of October 12th and 13th, we also have 2 wonderful workshops with our faculty members, Gabs and Junata. On Saturday, October 12th, Gabs 404 will be joined by a special guest, the astrologer and time researcher Christopher Burrick, in the Nebula Lab, where they'll deep dive into time as a substance and explore the many ways that time has been measured, expanded, stretched, and played with, and how we can work with time across time through the cyclical symbolism of the outer planets. The next day, Sunday, October 13th, Junata Petrus returns for the Aries full moon edition of her monthly Artistic Alchemy series. In these sessions, Junata brings us into the textural, sensual encounters with the solar-lunar axis and full moon vibes by sharing playlists, artist practices, and personal prompts that help us uncover and expand our personal creative practices and life as artistry. These events are all offered on Zoom and available by recording if you can't attend live. Our offerings also change with each season and are always curated to meet the moment. To find out more, check the upcoming events in our show notes or click Study from the drop-down menu at embodiedastrology.com.
Now, I do want to clue you into the full moon and the days leading up to the full moon from October 13th or so. October 13th just as a day, but then leading up to the full moon feel like it brings a lot of energy and activation into the collective space. For you, Taurus, I think that this energy and activation could really be intense for some of you, and I'm saying intense in a neutral way, if you can believe it. So the intensity feels like a readiness, and this readiness could be a readiness to have a conversation. It could feel like an outburst. It could be exciting and you're like, oh my God, this is the thing. Like, I want this. So I'm not saying positive or negative, but I do feel that there's a kind of intensity that is saturating your consciousness as we move towards the Aries full moon. And because this full moon is in the sign that precedes yours, and then we're going into Scorpio season, which is going to bring the highlight into your relationships, I do want to encourage you to work skillfully with intensity that might be coming up. And just know that Scorpio season is going to give you plenty of opportunities to have the conversations that you need to have. And if things are starting to bubble up to the surface in mid-October and you're feeling really intense about some stuff, you might consider holding it, right? Like, you don't need to dispel it right away. If you feel a lot of charge, you don't need to express it necessarily right away. That said, you also don't need to be avoidant. And so this comes to the Libra keyword of balance. And there is a need right now to stay attuned and aware of imbalance, because imbalance at a full moon is likely. And because this is such a polarizing feeling full moon, it's important to pay attention to the ways that you might be pushed or pulled by attraction or aversion. And the feeling here is, oh my God, I want that, and so I'm leaping out of myself to try and get it, or oh my God, I hate that, I don't want it, and then there's a really strong kind of repulsive force or aversive force, and that might be you running away as well as pushing away. And so can you stay tuned in to your own capacity for extremes is what I'm asking you. And because we are all capable of extremes, know that extreme feelings serve a purpose, and that they can serve their best purpose when you pay attention to them in integrated, coherent ways. That means that your mind, your heart, and your body are all trying to listen for the messages that are coming in. So to go back to these theme points, in your mind, where are your preferences dictating your behavior? Your thoughts about what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what is wanted, what is not wanted. This is definitely a period of time that's asking you to be aware of your own preferences and to take ownership for them, but also to be aware that your preferences don't have to be everybody else's preferences. And for you to know what you want is clarifying, and it's helpful. And it doesn't mean that other people have to want the same thing that you want. It does mean that there can be some kind of dynamic conversation about it at some point. And maybe there are opportunities for people to stretch their windows of tolerance and capacity, or expand their preferences or ideas about what's possible, or compromise, or meet in the middle, or something. But you definitely want to be aware that this might be a period of time when your likes and dislikes feel very intense. And the reason the intensity is here is to clue you in to what you want and need. And there may also be a need for you to temper and condition the instincts that emerge in you, particularly when it comes to communication and enacting on your desires. Again, as we move towards Scorpio season, you're going to have opportunities to have the important conversations, renegotiations, and readjustments that you need. And this period of time, I believe, is helping you clarify what's happening for you internally, so that those conversations can be hopefully effective and helpful for your situation and for other people who you might be relating with. Okay, so to summarize, Taurus, this feels like a season for you to rebalance and practice balance. Balance is a constant shifting state. Oftentimes, where we are imbalanced are the hardest places to notice that we're imbalanced. Our habitual imbalances get normalized in our body minds. They become habits, patterns, and addictions. It can be very hard to feel what an appropriate counterbalance is once we've located those imbalances. And often what happens is we'll pull hard in a different extreme. Pulling hard in a different extreme can create an equal and opposing reaction to pull back to the thing that we know. So this is definitely a season to notice your reactive patterns. When you feel an imbalance, whether that's in your health or your work-life balance or your day-to-day experiences or your relationships and the give and the take or the experience that you're having inside of them. When you feel an imbalance, notice the tendency to pull in the other direction and see if you can work the tension of this perceptual noticing, right? What you're cluing into, so that you can really clarify your needs. And as you notice what your needs are, you're in a state of reframing your ideas about what is good, what is bad, what you like, what you don't like, because holding the tension of something, not immediately reacting, allowing yourself and other people to be different, actually can help evolve your sense of what you want and need. And the ways that we identify around our wants and needs are intense, and they are very strong, and we tend to personalize them. It's like, well, I'm just a person who only likes pistachio ice cream, but meanwhile, like, there's a gazillion flavors you've never even tried. So there is a kind of feeling here right now of intensity can come in because it's habitual, because you're grasping to something, because you think that this is the thing that you want. But there is a need for you to hold the tension and to do some kind of recalibration, audits, noticing what is actually true, what is actually real, what are you actually trying to cultivate for yourself. And then working that experience internally so that you can have skillful exchanges with the people or with the situations that you're trying to change inside of. And I want to say that I think a lot of you that this is coming up in Scorpio season, and over the course of the next many months, as we move into the first several months of next year, there is a feeling of clarifying, cutting out what you don't want to be paying attention to or giving your time and your resources towards, stabilizing yourself in something that feels like a clearer, stronger base, and basically opening space to be in your life and be in the relationships that your life has to other people and to time and to space and experiences and material reality in new and different ways. Okay, Taurus, I hope any or all of that felt helpful or interesting to you. I'm wishing you all the best in Libra season. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this reading, please show your support. The easiest way to do that is to click the like, follow, and subscribe buttons below. Leave us great reviews on the streaming platforms you're tuning in with, and share our channels and offerings with your friends and networks. Your one-time and recurring donations sustain the production of this work. Click the link in the show notes to sign up for a monthly donation or leave us a tip. Thank you for your support.